All right, welcome everybody. As you are coming into the stream tonight, I want to welcome you, welcome you, welcome you. Looks like we are live everywhere we need to be, which is great. Great, great, great. Welcome, welcome as you come in. We are getting set to go for the paint party tonight. The paint party tonight. Let me go ahead and get my um, apron on. If you will give me a shout out, say hello. This is very informal. My live streams are open house. Stop in, pop out, watch what's going on, come back, see how the progress of the painting goes. My favorite part is chatting with you all. Welcome as you come into the live stream. Glad to have you on the live stream. Please say hello wherever you are watching. If you're on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn, hello, hello, mother. Thanks for joining. I am so glad that you popped in to say hello. There are two other people watching us that are being shy tonight, which is just fine. I'm excited to get started on a new painting tonight. I've been doing some other paintings um, in I've been doing some other paintings during the week, and so I'm excited to try something brand new. I've never done an animal before, and I'm looking forward to trying an animal tonight. Welcome to the live stream. New people popping in. This is really informal. I like to say it's open house. You pop in, see what's going on, see how the painting is going, and pop out and maybe pop in later and see how it's going because it is a long live stream. Welcome, welcome to everybody coming in the live stream. Please say hello. I love chatting with you all while I paint. I started about four months ago or so, maybe April or May, teaching myself to paint on YouTube, just using YouTube tutorials, and I've been really surprised how quickly my progress has progressed, or my development of my skill has progressed in that time. One of the things I love is really breaking down the process and kind of figuring out, it's like a big puzzle, figuring out how to make things look the way they need to look. So welcome to the live stream. I'm so glad you joined me. We're trying something brand new tonight. This week I've been doing something really fun, which is I've been streaming only on Instagram during the week. Whenever I have time, they're really impromptu streams. So in the evenings, if you're interested in following my painting journey more closely, please follow me on Instagram. It's at Stephen E. Rice, Stephen with a V, E. Rice, on Instagram, and you can catch my live streams there during the week. On the weekends, I'm going to keep the weekend streams here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, a little more formal and planned. Typically a Saturday night, sometimes a Sunday evening, but that's the plan, is Instagram during the week and then everywhere else on the weekend. So this will be kind of the larger one. If you aren't subscribed, please go to YouTube and subscribe so you can get notifications. And you can see my progress over the coming weeks and months as I continue to progress. What I've been doing is seeing images that friends are taking, photos that friends are taking, and asking them if I can paint their pictures. So in the next few weeks, I'll soon begin painting pictures that friends have entrusted me with. So I'm really excited about that. So far, I've been painting pictures I've taken and, of course, have copy permission to use. And so that's kind of how we roll here. So I have been working on the live stream a little bit, and I have a different camera, an angle, so you all can see where I'm working, what I'm working on. I'll be able to zoom in. So my phone's up here. You can kind of see what's going on there. And I can look here at my computer. Eventually this week, hopefully, I'm going to get a monitor that I'll be able to set up here so I can have the reference photo up in front of me, because right now it's really lo-fi. As you can see, this is the painting that I was working on this week on Instagram. It's not quite done, but if you are interested in seeing how that came to be, you can find that on Instagram. Again, Stephen E. Rice. Welcome to the live stream, those of you that are just coming in. It's open house style. Just pop in, say hello, and then pop out again. So let us kind of get started this evening. I would appreciate it if you'd give me a shout out and say hello, so that I can greet you. I am excited to have you all here and enjoy interacting with you. That's why I decided to live stream, because I'm going to be painting anyway. So it just is a lot more fun with friends. So feel free to say hello. All right, let's get started. I'm going to take a piece of tape, and again, real lo-fi. I'm going to put my cute little... So this is the picture we're painting tonight. Isn't he adorable, this llama from... I think he's a llama. I don't think he's an alpaca. From Peru, when I was in Peru. Welcome. I see several more people coming into the live stream. If you see me look off camera, it's because I'm looking down at my computer. I have a couple of camera angles going here. I guess I can turn to say hi. That's the advantage of having the software. So as you come into the live stream, please say hello. So glad to have you here for this live event. As I was saying earlier, I chat or I live stream during the week on Instagram and on the weekend here on YouTube and Facebook. So say hello, join the conversation. I enjoy a conversation going on in the comments. Your comments will pop up in my software, so please do say hello. All right, let me show you. Here's my little, what should we call him? I feel like he needs a name. Like, what's our llama's name here? Oh, that's not gonna work. I think I'm gonna have to put him on this side of the screen, and he'll just cover my head part of the time. That way. Or I wonder how maybe I can move the camera and then put him. Okay, yeah. What should we call him, y'all? What should we call him? Bert? Bert the llama doesn't sound right. I don't know. He needs a name. Somebody who's creative, come up with a name. What should we name him? What should we name him? All right. Good deal. Okay, so I'm really excited, y'all, because I have been painting for the last, like I said, several months. Started in my living room, literally just sitting on the floor, and then my old back would not have that anymore. And so I actually moved this is my dining table. I don't dine so much. Well, I do dine, but not at the table. So I closed all the leaves and covered it with a drop cloth, and it became my painting station in my spare room. And I've been painting, but when I do these live streams, I love to paint, and I love the process, but it ends up, I may paint for 2-3 hours at a time, and all of a sudden, by the time I realize it, my back, my shoulders, my legs are killing me. So I have to show y'all what I did today. Just a second. Hey, Alec. Leon the llama, Mom. Leon it is. Leon the llama. All right. Oops. The comments are really small. Let's make them bigger. This is my mama. She comes up with the name. So, y'all, look at what I have here. I have a stool so I can be comfy and paint. I can be comfortable in paint. I can't tell you how nice it is to have a stool where I can relax and it is comfortable. Well, it doesn't slide very easily, but it has a back so I can sit back and recline totally out of camera view. Come forward, but it'll make it a little bit easier. Although I'm used to standing up to paint, so this I may have to do that periodically anyway. Okay, so Leon the llama. This is the first attempt at an animal. Oh my goodness! And let's see. I have a feeling he's going to be a little more difficult than expected. So let's see where I can paint. Yes. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to go and Leon the llama. The first thing that I generally want to do is, now my canvas is square. I think it's, you hate sitting and painting. Wait till you're three times your age, Alec. Wait till you are 3 times your age. Yeah, I will probably have to stand up, but the stool's nice to have when I'm doing just a lot of boring detail work, like I was on the those waterfalls the other night, or the trees. So, okay, to break down the process a little bit, those of you that have watched my live stream have seen me do this, but what I try to do is look at the photo. So looking at Leon, the lion, okay, maybe not quite 3 times your age, Alec, but definitely double your age. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Leon the llama, what I like to do with a new painting is look at the photo. Part of what I think makes someone successful, or at least makes me successful to the level that I've been able to progress slowly with my painting, is looking at the source or the reference photo and kind of breaking it down into steps. So when I look at this photo, I'm looking at what's in the background, which is sky and some nondescript clouds. That's fairly easy. The kind of hill in the background is going to be a little more difficult. I didn't think about it until I really looked at this photo, but because there are really no trees up on the hill, we were way up over the tree line, or we were up at altitude, and this was above the tree line apparently. Um, it's going to be just kind of that green, muted green texture with the shadow of the clouds up there at the top of the hill, and then you have the things in the mid kind of background, which is the trees and the wall. Couldn't think of the word. And then, of course, our beautiful Leon right up front center, as he should be. So when we break that down, I'm thinking my composition of where things are laid on the canvas, getting that right, and then moving from furthest away from the viewer to closest as I paint. So welcome, welcome, more people coming in to the live stream. Hello, Shirley. Thanks for joining. And glad to have you. Those of you joining, please join the conversation in the comments. Say hello wherever you are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, wherever you're watching from. This is really laid back, open house style. Just pop in, pop out, see how the painting's going. This is the first time that I have painted or attempted to paint an animal. So this will be interesting. This was an image I took in Peru last year. I was in Peru on a school trip with some students, and we had lunch, and this llama was off to the side of where we were having lunch, and he was really sweet and let us pet him. There were 2 or 3 of them, I think, in this area. So I wanted to give him a try. So Those of you just joining me, I like to engage with you. I like to chat while I'm painting, so please feel free, ask questions, or just say hello and chat. You can pop in, pop out at your convenience. I do impromptu live streams on Instagram during the week. So if you're interested in following my painting journey or learning as I'm learning to paint, I'm teaching myself just using YouTube tutorials. You can follow me on Instagram at Stephen E. Rice, and you can watch those. I only stream those during the week on Instagram Live because it literally, I just walk in, put up my phone, and turn it on and paint whatever I'm working on. The weekends, Saturday typically, or maybe Sunday evenings, I do a more formal live stream, not formal, but a regular live stream on YouTube and Facebook, etc. And that's also always going to be a different painting that I've worked on during the week. So if you're not subscribed on YouTube and you're watching there, please subscribe. Or if you're on Facebook, jump over to YouTube and subscribe, and you will we'll get started. So, or you'll be informed of everything. Okay, so we want to lay out the basic composition, which is the basic layout of where things are on the canvas. Because this is a square canvas, it's going to be a little different. I'm going to actually kind of paint it long ways, but we'll have some end. It should be easy to kind of fill in, but it may not be exactly as it is. So let's do this. A lot of artists use paint to do this, but I am not going to. I am just going to use a pencil, and I'm going to kind of lay in this composition. All right, this is kind of where the mountain comes, and he comes down here. There's kind of that. He goes down. There's some trees here. A tree there. There's in the background, there's kind of a part of the wall there. And then the foreground wall comes, trying to see, I think I'm a little too far down because I think the foreground wall is about there. There's some trees here, a tree there, kind of twin trees there, and some brush. And then, yeah, let's say then the other wall is actually right there, approximately. And there's a little pile of rubble there. We won't paint that in. Then we have kind of our, I'm going to put the big post right there. And actually, that post goes right there. And then there's a line. Then our guy, Leon, is kind of this is really disconcerting because I am just not sure that I'm going to be able to do him justice. This is where he kind of sits. Don't laugh, y'all. As I laugh. Okay. Actually, I think I want him over here, but let's see. Okay. Roughly, that's the sketch. Okay. All right. Yes. Thank you. I should have zoomed in. It's going to be hard to see. I guess I should have used paint because I was just using. Sorry, and thank you, Alec. I just started drawing and it's not very definite. What I need to do is, which I was planning to do, is lay this out. And yeah, you really can't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint in the sky and the clouds. So let me put some white on. Thank you. Yes. Alec is imagining a beautiful, yes, imagine the most beautiful outline of a llama that there is, and that's exactly what's on my canvas. Y'all, this is going to be a little bit of a train wreck, I already know. Just because I don't have the, I do not have the skills yet. But it's going to be fun. So, if you're here for the ride or part of the ride, let us get started. So, I am going to actually zoom out, and there you can see a little bit. I am going to mix some white here with some blue. Just a little bit of blue goes a long way. This is ultramarine blue. And that will be our sky. The sky is really not very it is not very defined, not very dark or saturated is, I guess, the proper term. So we'll just do some really light here, and Alec, I don't prime the canvas because it is pre-gessoed. It's already essentially, it has gesso on it. It's pre-primed. A lot of, this is just the cheap canvas from, I think, Michael's. A lot of those are pre-gessoed. So I don't worry about it too much, if that kind of answers your question. So yeah, I don't worry too much. All right, so we're going to put that color in here. And there's some color in there. We'll just come across this way and lay that all in, and then we can put some clouds on top of that eventually. But we'll just lay in this color on the cloud, or on the sky. So we have the canvas coated with some color. Yep. Okay. And it's kind of that muted purple blue. Okay. So, as I said, that will be easy. Oh, cool. I am glad it's inspiring you. I figured you had had some experience or something. You definitely have the artist's eye, so you should do it. The questions you were asking the other night, I was like, you've taken an art class or you've painted before, done some, I assumed some painting. Okay. All right. Now, um, let me jump in. Let's see. Okay. So we have the sky laid in, that blue purple. Let's take a look and see as we come forward. Let's try to lay in this greenish blue. Oh, wow. Alec, that's amazing. 4 years. Oh, you should be teaching me, dude. Uh, I guess you are. That's why last night you said use the fan brush, right? Excellent. Oh, I should be taking your class. You should. We could reverse. I taught your class last year. You can teach my class this year, or teach me this year. Um, hey, Shirley. What made me start painting? Honestly, I started. I think back in April or March or May. Um, well, it's probably May, maybe June even, but I was just kind of going crazy, being locked down, and because I had been basically locked down since early May or early March, and just needed a creative outlet that I didn't have to be perfect or good at. And I started painting, and it was really bad. And then I started watching tutorials on YouTube to try to get better. And I thought, hey, let me just keep doing this. And I've fallen in love with it. I'm really become obsessed, a little compulsive, because I don't know if you were on earlier, but I was telling everybody that I am streaming during the week on Instagram Live whenever I have time. Since I'm painting anyway, I enjoy chatting with people. So I just set up my phone and do Instagram lives, and then on the weekends I'm doing these on YouTube or Facebook. Um, so it's more of a consistent thing on the weekends. But I'm going to try to do different paintings. So if people watch during the week, then they see something different on the weekends. So yeah, that's kind of it. And I love chatting with people. So I was like, let me just stream and people can watch and see. And I like to kind of I'm an external processor, so being able to kind of process what I'm thinking while I'm doing it helps me. But it also gives people a kind of I guess, a perspective of the process that I go through. Because I think, people have said, I appreciate the kind words, but but yes, I have an eye to look at some things, but I think a lot of it is not necessarily talent so much as the ability to kind of deconstruct and problem solve in colors and shapes. It's figuring out the puzzle, and that's a lot of fun to me. So that's kind of why I started, and I like doing this kind of thing where I've never painted a llama, and I really think this painting is not going to be good because I've never done it, and I haven't really watched any tutorials on animal painting much. Um, it's easier to fix a tree if you like put a branch out of place or something. It's a little more different if you make a cross-eyed llama. So uh, we we'll see how it turns out. All right, so let's go in and put in um, our hill behind Mr. Leon the llama. Um, so we'll put some green in. Actually, I think I'm gonna do some. Hmm. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put some phthalo green, which is a darker blue green, and then sap green, which is kind of a yellowish green here. So you can see, so there's the phthalo green, kind of that blue green, and there's the sap green. Um, let's mix. We have to kind of diffuse this a little bit. So, because it's in the distance, so it needs to be kind of not bright. And then I think I'm gonna I think I can put maybe a little brown or black into it. To kind of put it in the distance. Because again, like this is a really minty green, and even if I add the sap green, it's going to give us like an organic green, but it's very saturated. It's like really bright, and so we don't want that. We want more muted color. So let's bring in a little brown. Let's see if that makes a difference. And maybe even a little black. Very little black, because black turns muddy and gray quick. Okay, I don't know if you can tell that. My beautiful, awful orange light above me is a fan light. But look, see how with the brown and the black, it especially right in here, it's more muted and it's much less than this bright color it was, so that it will fade into the background a little bit, and it'll be a good undertone. So let's go in. I think that will be a good place to start. With the hill. So we'll go in and put in this hill that just kind of comes, and I'm gonna actually draw it in with a smaller brush. So I'm taking a small round brush or a filbert brush that's kind of been destroyed because I was using it to make trees yesterday. With the stabbing technique, right, Alec? The stabbing technique. So we'll put in the line of the hill here. Okay, that'll give us a good undertone. Then we can lay our lowlights and highlights on top of it. Okay. Now, we want to do this guy. Comes in here. We'll just bring them all the way down to the edge of the canvas. The good thing and the bad thing about it's flipped for you. Actually, just a second. Once I get this line put in, I didn't even realize that. Because my phone is flipped and I'm looking at myself the right side, so thank you for pointing that out. Because that could be confusing, yes. The good thing and bad thing about painting in acrylics is they dry very, very fast, like faster than you can get them on canvas. So there we go, on the canvas, but you have to be, I learned this very quick. See, look how quick up there it's already, you get hard lines in, and then it's hard to fix them. So I'm going to go in. Well, it's not hard to fix them. You just have to repaint everything. But I'm going to go in and quickly put in this undertone, and then I'll try to fix the camera for y'all. I need more paint, which means stop and mix. And try to get it the same color you had before. Okay, too much mint. Bring in the brown. And a little bit of black. Okay, I think I mixed back to almost where I was. Almost. Okay. Yep, almost. Okay. And we'll come in here. We just want to cover up this. Put some color in here. Cover that canvas, at least with the first layer. I should have put a lot of brown on my palette. I already ran out of brown because this painting will have a lot of brown in it anyway, so. I remember a couple of, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, excuse me, I was watching a tutorial. This artist in New Zealand who's an amazing artist named Andrew Tischler, and he was talking about mixing paint, and he said mix small batches of paint and then remix and remix if you need more versus a big batch. And especially for those of us that are doing that paint in acrylic. And he basically said this will help you to become better at mixing color. And I thought at the time, oh, there's no way. I just am no good at this. But he's correct. He is absolutely correct. The better, I mean, it's only taken a few weeks, and not a few weeks, but maybe a month or so, and I've become much better, and I hope it will continue. I'll continue to become better at mixing color. Okay. All right, let me go here and see on my app. Give me just a second, y'all. Okay, I wonder, okay, maybe that will help. Maybe that will help. Yes, okay, now your image should match mine. So on the left hand of your screen is the sloping hill down to the right. Okay, sorry about that. I had it flipped in my in the app that I use as a virtual camera on my phone, so or a virtual camera feed. So cool. Yes, yes. Excellent, excellent. Thank you for that sharp eye, Alec. And welcome, welcome to everyone else on the live stream. Please, yeah, you can't see my face. That should be a good thing. Let's see. If I go here and then move him here, then maybe you see a little bit of my face. Okay. We're working this out. We're figuring this out as we go. It's a good thing. Okay. Whoops. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, smart Alec. You are correct. Okay. Yeah. It's not necessarily a bad thing to miss my face, especially if I sit back in my comfy chair. Did I tell you guys I have a comfy chair? All right. So, let us continue. I want to put in at least the foundation or the main kind of what am I trying to say? The main suggestion of this wall. So let's do that. Let's go. The wall comes, I think, about right in here, and it goes kind of like that, I believe. So let's just kind of put that in. As kind of a suggestion. Okay. It's going to have some green stones in it. Now it won't. But that'll give us the idea of the wall. It's kind of right in there. All right. Yes, my you're right. Slanted. It is a little slanted, but so you can see when I hold it up. Maybe you can let me hold it straight as sort of there. It's slanted downward. Yeah, all the dimensions. What I really need is I will when I put in the detail. Yeah, I will increase so it is wider here. Sorry, everybody's not seeing these comments. Yes. Yep, I just wanted to get the placement of it in. And yes, then we will add some of that, perspective is the word I'm looking for. Some of that perspective. And then back in here we have a wall kind of going, part of the wall going this way. It's kind of just in there. And the shadows, there's shadows in there. And obviously that will be fixed as well. Okay. Now what I want to do is go back to the green Rinse the other brush, go back to the green that I had mixed before, some sap, some phthalo, white, and brown. I think I want to add a little more sap green this time since we're moving forward. Sap green and maybe even a little light green. Is that like backseat driving, Alec? I appreciate the backseat painting because it helps me maybe notice things I hadn't noticed, like my camera is flipped inverse. So, all right, let's put in some green here. Just cover the painting so that we get we'll fill this in once we do. This is a really much more saturated green, but that's all right. Just cover the canvas and then we can worry about the details later. Should have kind of left our llama space open, but that's all right. Okay. Now, there is this brown. Mix a little more brown and put in some, because there's that post there. There's some brown in the middle here. It kind of goes across the that post is kind of right there, I think, somewhere. And then where are we going to put our big furry friend? Leon the llama. Let's go and let's start to put him in, just in the bulk of him. The bulk of him. All right, he's kind of a oh, y'all, I'm so nervous. So he's kind of this. Actually, what I should do is just a second, y'all. I'm gonna get my handy dandy little blow dryer. Actually, I won't blast y'all's ears out. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. Or my audio will be right back. All right, my audio is back, and so am I. All right, what was happening was I was. That's driving me crazy. I have to put this just a little bit up. There we go. Um, then I'll come over here and we'll shrink Mr. Leon just a tad. Okay. What was happening there is I had painted in the green and brown and it hadn't dried yet, and so when I started to put Mr. Leon in, he was not going in because he was not having it. Trying to put that light color on top of what a probably more gifted, skilled painter would have done was block him in or leave the space for him, and then you don't have to paint the light over the dark. But as we know, I am not a skilled painter, and I'm using, as Alex says, the stabbing technique to kind of put this guy in, or at least the start of his figure, his amazing busty little figure. He works hard on his figure up there in the mountains of Peru, y'all. He's there just chomping his grass. A great Peruvian diet. Okay, we get the eye. We get kind of. Oh, that's not good. Didn't mean to go way out over there, but we can fix it. This gives kind of a. It's sort of the shape he is. And his little legs there. He has a leg there and a leg there. Sorta. And then he's got a head kind of like this. Very aristocratic. Looking at us like, why are you in my town? Okay. For a first attempt, this makes me sort of happy. I'm okay with this. It's not totally ugly. Huh. Welcome, welcome. There's a few new people popping into the live stream. So glad to have you. We're starting a brand new painting tonight. So please pop in. This is super informal. All of those of you on the live stream know my spiel. It's open house. Pop in, pop out. See how the progress is going. This is the first time I've painted an animal, so we are attempting Leon the lion. We've determined, or the llama, is what we've determined to name him for tonight. So say hello, and you can comment in the comments wherever you're watching. And I really enjoy chatting with you during these sessions. So feel free to say hi, ask questions, make comments, give advice, as my good friend Alec is doing. You know, Alec, so art question. Let me zoom this in a little bit and move him over to my face. So, Alec, do you think he's too small? the way I've laid him there? Do you think he needs to be bigger? Because in the reference photo, he's like the center focus. I like I like his shape roughly, but I think he's too small. Like I think his face needs to be bigger and like, but I'm afraid to like mess it up. He needs to be the focal point. That's what I thought. Damn it. Okay. Well, we'll make it work. Okay. Hey Tanya, thanks so much for popping in and saying hello. I was telling them that I am streaming on the weekdays. Oops, let me move Leon over. I need a producer that can do this stuff, or a PA. So I was telling them that I'm streaming on Instagram during the week whenever I have time to paint. It's really informal. I just pop on. It's not planned necessarily or scheduled. But the weekends I'm going to keep on YouTube or Facebook. And that way people can know Saturday night typically is going to be my paint night, maybe sometimes Sunday evening if I get busy on Saturday. And I'll do a different painting on Saturday, Sunday than I would do through the week. So that's kind of what we're doing. Awesome. So, okay, we need to reconfigure Leon then. Let me see. Okay, let me go back to the reference photo. He needs to be the center, not something included. I agree, Alec. Okay. So, actually, in the reference photo, his head is above the is a ways above the wall. That's kind of his head. And he comes down here. I could still, like, his little legs are super stubby, right? So, like, it kind of works. I may just need to fluff out his body so it's proportional a little bit, but kind of works. If we do something like that, maybe that's a little better. So I have to put this comment on the screen because, you know. Thanks, Matthew. Thanks for stopping in to all my live streams. I really appreciate it. We're just trying to fix the llama because we made him too small the first time. So we're putting him in here. Okay, so he's roughly as I want him, I think. But let me do this. I want to start. Oh, you know what? I can't. I need to give him a minute to dry before I start putting too many layers on him. I was going to go in and start putting layers, but that's not something I really want to do right now. Nope, nope, nope. Not something I want to do. I'm going to step back from this a second and take a look. still feels like he's a little too, like he's just not imposing enough. Like he's supposed to be, he's the main attraction. His, like his head size is good. It's like, I don't know. Like I told you before we started this, this is going to be a bad, like the first time doing this because I've never painted an animal. Thanks, Tanya. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. I will post this to Facebook and Instagram so you can see it once it's done. Okay. Um, yeah, I think you may be right. I may be overthinking this, Alec. So, yeah. All right. Let's go in. Let's let him rest a while and just chill. And let's go back to the furthest thing away from the viewer, which are is the sky and the clouds. And let's go in and just put in these clouds because that will be easy. It's kind of the clouds here are kind of a purple bluish. It was like this overcast sort of wannabe sunny day. Um, it's interesting because up on top of the mountains, this was in Peru when I was there, and it was, you know, the clouds come over the mountains and they drop the rain, so it was, we had some sunny days, but then you have some these days that are just kind of cloudy and murky. So we'll put some more. It's not dark enough, I don't think. Wonder if I can zoom in a little bit so you all can see better what I'm doing. This needs to go this way. There we go. Okay, I'm putting some clouds in here, but I'm gonna need to mix it darker on my palette than it appears because it appears too light on the canvas. Okay, so I want to go in and create some clouds here. And make it actually darker. Clouds at the bottom are even darker. There's the shadow of the clouds as they go up over here. And then there's little suggestions of clouds across the sky. We'll just put those in. I don't even know if they'll show up there on the screen. I guess, yeah, you guys can see the clouds going in. And we'll take a little bit, very tiniest bit of black, mix it in to come in here with some. There's like this cloud in front that's kind of darker gray. Hopefully that'll give us the feeling of different tones there. Okay. We'll let that dry a little bit. Now, let's see. What we should tackle next. So we go farthest from the eye and start forward, so the clouds and the sky. And we may lay a little more detail into that, but the very next thing is the hills. All right, so we need to lay in some tones on the hills. The initial is kind of a much more of a pepperminty green, so we want to tone that down. There are shadows over these hills, so let's see if we can lay those in with mixing some brown, green, and black. And maybe a little blue. Because if you look at the reference photo up on the left-hand side here in this area is kind of the clouds over the mountains are kind of, I don't know, like a bluish green, purplish green. They're really okay. We mix a little white to just take out the color then. Let's see if this will give us what we want. I think it needs a little more blue, purple tone. Let's try it. Here, we'll see. Starting to bring that tone down, put it in the background there. These are all in the shadows. So I have to be careful because I don't necessarily want to lose all of the undertones. we do want to. There's some more shadows here. One thing that I realize people ask, about the like improving your painting. One thing that I've realized with painting is if you can be patient, you can dramatically improve your outcomes because so much of it is putting on layers after layers. I think I showed y'all at the beginning, those of you who are here, but I'll pull it out. So this week I was working on this painting. Whoops. There it is. And there we go. And it's still not done. And I've spent, I think, 4 or 5 hours on it, just layer after layer after layer after layer to get all of the greens working. But now it's starting to be, you can tell what it is, and you can tell that it looks similar to there, the reference photo. So part of like successfully figuring out this painting thing is having the patience to, put in highlights and lowlights and then figure out you paint something like that llama 3 times and it's like, oh, I don't like it, and start over and take it all out again. That's kind of a difficult part of painting, but it is the reality. Okay, what I don't know how to convey there are these kind of bubbles in the hill, but not bubbles, but they're rolling. Maybe I'll just have to put highlights down here, but I'm not quite sure how to convey that once I get there. Oops. Okay. I think those are our major. There's some shadow in here. These are some shadow spots here. So, okay. That's the major shadow. Then, all right, let's do some, I think, mix some light green, again on the hill, lay in kind of the lighter tones. And see what happens. So how was everybody's week? I talk a lot about painting, but how did your week go? Oh, this shirt is so gross. There's so much paint in it. How was the week? How did the week go? I'm just mixing paint off camera, so let me maybe zoom out a little bit. I'm just mixing paint down here. Some green. I'm trying to figure out, I need kind of a yellow green. This is way too lime green for my taste. Maybe some brown in it. All right. Give it some more brown. This is the color I'm mixing to try to go up on that hill in kind of the lighter spaces. But I'm not sure if it's still too bright. It might still be too bright. Might need just more brown. I'm trying to look at my reference photo, and I think I'm getting closer to the color. Now, it looks a little orangey green because of the light that I have in here. Eventually, so I think I mentioned earlier, I have a monitor coming that's going to be able to sit here. So I'll be able to get rid of these lo-fi reference photos. I'll be able to have the reference photo up on a second monitor, which you all will be able to see on camera as well. I'll still put it up on the screen unless I'm doing Instagram Live, then it's just on my screen. But I'm going to have a monitor. Eventually, I'd like to put up some lights in here that are not incandescent lights, because that just isn't working for me. But it is what it is for now. So, all right. Let us go in here and lay in some of this. Hill color that's not there we go. Cover up that peppermint. All right, I am not totally sad by this. Put in some suggested highlights up on the hill. There's kind of a nub that comes out there that defines the edge of that hill as being in front of the one behind it, or the one, yeah, being in front. Okay. Oh shoot, now I don't remember what I mixed for this color. See what I mean? All right, we'll go back to the palette and we will mix. Let me zoom this in a little bit again so y'all can see. I'm just going to be here kind of off camera, but you can see a little bit, maybe a little bit better what I've been doing. So mixing colors, I'm taking green and brown, a significant amount of brown. Sap green and burnt umber, which if you're interested in painting, I would always hate it on tutorials when they say, oh, I'm just taking a little yellow, and I'm like, I don't know what yellow you're using. So sap green and burnt umber work really well to create an amazing kind of army green, which is, that makes sense because it's used for camouflage, but it's a really good organic green, especially for kind of undertones of grassy, in this case, a grassy hill. So we'll pull this all the way over. Just layer on and then blend up in. these areas. What happens, even though we have kind of the peppermint green underneath that I mixed first, which was awful, but it gave us a starting place. Once it's covered, then we have some additional light undertones that just kind of, in very small places, will bleed through, not bleed through, but will show through, and it will be really nice once you get all the other layers of everything you're going to put on there. You end up having some more natural looks. All right. Oops, I just painted over Leon's ear. Poor Leon. We'll just bring this, again, covering the canvas here. Blend in a little bit. Okay. Okay. I notice I do that a lot. Let me see if I can take a little brown and a little of this green, mix it in with white. I want to just create another little tone that's adjacent to the one we just used that I can put in some I think right in there is that little, there's kind of a little knoll that comes down the mountain. So there's some brown colors in here. It also goes across here where the grass is kind of worn out or worn off. So I want to put some of that in. And maybe back in the background, but then we'll go back in and put some later when we do the detail work, we'll put in, well, details. Okay. Good deal. All right. I appreciate those of you that have stayed with me. There are several of you here. Everyone's being quiet tonight. Well, lately. All right, people. What I hope is that eventually we will have a whole gang of people interested in painting and art, and we can have robust chats about life and art. Okay, I'm going to stand up because just a little bit. Been sitting too long. Okay. Let me step back a little bit and take a look. It's been too long. All right, I'm kind of happy with where we're going on the hills. I think this looks really good. What do y'all think as far as like the first layer? I think the hills are making me happy. And the clouds look pretty good. You can tell it's kind of a stormy or about to storm day. There might be a little rain. But then when we get down to the valley with Leon, he is just happy as a clam because he is in the full sun with his bad self. All right. So if we go back to our rule about if we this is so weird. If we go back to our rule of going to the camera's just not big enough. I need to like sit forward. If we go back to our rule of moving from furthest away from the viewer forward, we went to the clouds, we did the sky, we did the mountains, we came forward all the way to Leon, then we went back to the sky, did the clouds, did some layers and some shading and some fixing the color. Look at this in comparison. Remember that first color we had on here? Isn't that crazy how different and more now all of a sudden this looks so much more, just these first two layers look so much more real. That's what I love about painting. It's figuring out the puzzle, figuring out those things of how you can fix it, I guess. So, yeah. I keep moving my camera and it's like driving me crazy. I am not compulsive or obsessive at all. Okay, maybe just a little bit. So, when we come forward, the next thing I think we should work on is the trees, because the trees are the next thing that are closest to the viewer, right? They are. So let's go in and let's look at. I need this stool on. It's like a. The stool I'm sitting on is a kind of a has a little like I don't know platform, and it doesn't have wheels. I need one that slides back and forward. Okay, so I think we're gonna put in the trees. We're gonna start putting in the trees here, and then we'll make some decisions here on the trees that go along the wall line, and that will help define the wall as well, which is the next thing that we need to put in. So, all right. Everybody take a stretch break. We've been here for an hour and a half. It goes really fast for me because I love what I'm doing so much, but I know those of you watching may not have the same experience. But I appreciate you anyway. All right, I'm going to run real quick, y'all. See how murky my honey water jar is. I'm going to run and change my water. I will be right back in a flash. Okay, I'm back, like I said, in almost a flash. Okay, here we go. Let us start again. Raise this just a little bit. Okay, so we want to put in these trees. If I look at my reference photo, it looks like these trees are, at least in the background, they're very rather dark. So um, let's take some phthalo green, take a little sap green, a little brown, and we'll do our thing, making it almost good dark green that we can use to lay in the darkest shades of these trees. We want them pretty dark. Pretty dark, pretty dark, pretty dark. Almost black. And then we can lay highlights on top of them, which will be not really highlights, but just mid-tone greens, but will give the appearance of highlights because the undertones are so dark. So that's the plan, Stan. Okay, I think we got something that can uh, just still too light, I think. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not. So, all right, we're gonna put a little dab there. Let me some leaves, appearance of leaves. All right. See some dark green there. Probably have to correct that, but it gives us an idea. Okay, so we have the start of those trees. Then we have kind of some trees in here. Whoops, that went really dark really fast. And there's one over here. There's some. There we go. Okay, that gives us a sense of kind of some space. Okay. There is in here. Okay, so that almost you can't see it or wall. The small wall is going to come in over here. So we will do, and at the base of that wall is kind of some greenery, like some piled up brush or something. I don't know what's there. But all right, let's put in some definitive choices about this wall. It's kind of collapsed back there. It's almost like it goes in, it's like it goes in a U shape back and this area is collapsed out. If you look at closely at your reference photo. So, there's kind of this shadow area that's like this brown and a little black. Kind of so dark back there where the sun is under, or the sunlight doesn't get under the trees. So let's put that in, start to make that back in here. It kind of sits, that's still to the right. It's really brown. All right, we're making some actual decisions here regarding the wall. Put in the shape or the rough shape. All right. Now, let me do a little bit of this. Since the wall's in, we'll start putting some of this brush. There. I will take out some of that sharp line of the wall. Okay, here's what we did. Let me make sure you can see. So, put in kind of the suggestion of the wall, put in some dark tree brush stuff, and now we want to come forward again with, I think I want to lay in right in the middle is a pile of kind of brush. There's some stuff, like some stones and things right there. And so I think we'll put in just as a placeholder almost. But that's where that is, right there. And then I'm realizing that I always forget to, when I rinse my brush, I forget to wipe it out. I think this is too severe curve on this. Make that a little better. Okay, we'll see. Alrighty. Friendly reminder, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe there so that you will get notification. I typically do live streams on YouTube and Facebook, etc. on the weekends. If you want to keep up with my growth as an artist more closely, I started streaming on Instagram during the week. So you can follow me on Instagram to see what I'm up to there. Alrighty. Good deal. Now, I want to start laying in the wall that is behind Mr. Leon the Llama. Leon the Llama. So, say hello, y'all, if you are still watching. I appreciate those of you that are sticking with me. Makes it easier because then I'm not talking to myself. Well, I talk to myself anyway, but I enjoy having you all join the conversation. I already had some paint on the palette, so I just mixed it with some white to give us a little. Actually, where is my, wonder, I think it does need to be a little more brown. Putting out some more brown out there. Okay. We are going to lay in this wall, starting here behind Mr. Leon's head. All right, that's kind of how I'm thinking the wall is. Okay. Here we go. It's a really darken it a little bit. There is a method to this madness. I started light, went dark and dark and darker, because what I'd like to do is have some texture already built into the wall before I ever put any stones in it. Okay. All right, the wall is basically there. Woo woo. Here we are. There's the wall. Dun dun dun. And it has a big divot right in the middle of Leon, but we'll get rid of that. Okay. So, our wall, let me step back and look at the composition, just make sure nothing is glaringly off. Okay, I think something is. I think it is. I don't think I know it is. The wall I put in the back that I was doing. Okay. That wall is way too, like it needs to be more like this. So we'll make it like that, okay? And we can fix it because it actually, it's more horizontal actually. And this one comes down. Okay, good deal. It disappears into the thing anyway, so we can make it work. Into the brush. It's basically a pile of stones. Alrighty. Then let's start looking at what is the next thing that's kind of in the foreground. All right, so I want to take some of this green and put there's like a shadow of a tree here, kind of. Put in some shadow, a shadow over here. It's not as dark as the other shadow, but it's there. Okay. And then I want to fix this kind of the mint green that we have, and it needs to be kind of if we look at the reference photo, it's kind of a bright, really like not like a lime green, but a yellow green. So I'm going to take some light green, some white, and brown. Some green yellow. See if I can get the color I'm looking for. We're getting pretty close. So welcome back, Alec. Welcome back. I am just going in, putting the next layer of um, detail in, but I think I am I'm trying to mix a green to tone down kind of this peppermint that's there. And I think I have it pretty close. So let's see. Since we're in the sun and we're coming forward, we definitely are moving brighter, becoming brighter, especially right in there. There's that kind of patch of like light green. There's some over here, definitely under his feet with the straw. We can come in and put some detail, but where's the little yellow? Where's my yellow, yellow, yellow? What kind of straw color? Oh, that's really bright. Nope, that's not what I want. All right. Okie dokie. Let us see. Most all of the green is, well, except down there, is gone. Okay. So now, as we come forward, the final thing that we haven't looked at is our dear Leon. And so we go back to him and place him a little better. All right. Let's go back to his coat, put some white on the palette. We have some brown. That's our Leon. Okay. So his ear actually comes, it's actually in the middle of this tree, but everything's off a little bit because of this canvas. So his nose is about here. His head goes back here. His ear goes like, I think like that. That's what we're going to say his ear is doing right now. Okay. Okay. Now, from his ear, his eye socket is we moved him a fraction of an inch. We'll start putting these little brush strokes to, because if we get layers on layers, eventually we will have Leon. So we'll do lots of layers, but we want to start doing as quick as possible these brush strokes that are going to indicate his fur. And the more layers we have, the texture, the better it will be. At least that's the hypothesis right now. The hypothesis right now, y'all. Hey, Chase. Glad to have you join. Thank you so much. I am, as you can see by the reference photo, I am attempting to paint Leon the llama, and I have never painted an animal before, so we're kind of winging this. And we're starting to get to the place where we have to put in some definite choices we can't, well, I could keep moving him as long as I want, but we want to get him positioned in all his amazingness. I have been painting for just over 2 hours. Can you believe it? I decided to paint on Instagram during the week, and then I do my YouTube, Facebook thing. Instagram's just whenever I can, but YouTube, Facebook, hopefully will be every Saturday or Sunday if I have to, but Saturday. Typically, a painting takes me anywhere from 2 to. The more skilled I'm getting, or the more precise I'm getting, the longer it's taking, just because I'm not very fast. But usually 2 to 5 hours for a complete painting, so won't get it done tonight probably, but we'll keep working on it, and then I'll post it so people can see the finished product. I like to post on social just mostly for myself, so I have a record, because someday I'll want to look back at this. But I post on social a kind of step-by-step, like where it is each time I work on it, so I can kind of see. All right, so you can start to see Leon emerging from the back there. He looks recognizable as an animate object, so I'm not sad with him yet. Yeah, so that's where he is. Do I sell my paintings? I would. I haven't yet, because I just started like in, I think, May or June. And honestly, I haven't produced anything that I think is decent, but I'm getting there. I don't know, Chase, if you stopped in. I guess not, because this was on Instagram. I'll show you what I was painting this week on Instagram. This is Rough Lock Falls in the Black Hills National Forest. It's still not done. I have to do some final detail work, but this is probably the best, as far as best meaning most detailed, most realistic painting I've done. When I lined it up with you may have seen it on social because I posted this on top of it, the reference photo, it's at least recognizable as the same place. So I'm getting to the place where I think I would be willing to sell. All of that to say, I haven't yet, but I'm willing to, yes. So, yeah, that's the deal. But I'm mostly just trying to get experience with different types of subject matter, like painting different types of subjects, so that I can develop my skills more quickly. Okay, so this is Leon. He's just such a good boy. Okay. Now, I want to also on Leon nothing like dating a man who can paint, right? Well, I'm getting there little by little. Okay. I want to go in and on Leon still, we have some work to do on his on the shadow and his I got in the green. Nope, he's not green. Well, he could be, but he'd be a psychedelic, maybe a psychedelic llama then. I want to go in and start laying in some of his features. That way we have a little more. We can always, which we will always, be fine-tuning him. I want to give him his little color. He has this kind of brownish red color. Top. This is going to be the hardest to do because if I don't get the angles right, he's going to look really weird. He's got little tufts of hair coming out here. Okay. That's a little bit of his I think that's correct with his leg. His leg is there. Other one is like kind of there. Okay. Thank you so much, Chase. I appreciate that. That's so kind. It's funny when people say, "Oh, you're so talented." I appreciate that, and I understand. I do have a certain ability, but what is more interesting to me is I believe I actually the process that I'm going through in my head is more of a critical thinking process and a problem, a puzzle, solving a puzzle. more than it is a talent thing. Um, and so that's kind of interesting because I started this and I told everybody when we started, I think this is going to be a mess. Like, I think it's just because I've never done this before. I've never painted an animal before, and it may still be a real mess by the time we're done. Like, I could get the angles really wrong and probably will. Like, statistically, it's more likely that I will get the angles wrong. All that to say that I think what I'm doing here is really, yeah, it's absolutely like business. It's what I teach my students. The first time's the worst time. And if you're willing to jump in, which painting has given me the opportunity to jump in publicly and not be good at something, which is funny because then I do it and people are like, oh, you're so good at this. And I'm like, no, I'm really not that good at it. But people appreciate that, which is really interesting to me. But what the process I think I'm actually going through is a problem solving process, a puzzle solving process using colors and shapes. It's just what I'm using is a little bit different, and people look at it and say, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." But there are other people that, like you mentioned, that build businesses or, you know, run businesses or do other really amazing things, and so it's kind of cool because I don't particularly think I'm necessarily talented. I think I'm good at like recognizing patterns, and I'm becoming better at kind of figuring things out. I think I am. If there's a talent, it's I figure things out, and so like even now I'm trying to think about, okay, what am I doing? I'm messing this up a little bit, but because he's a little more slanted this way. Um, his legs are more. But yeah. Anyway, philosophically, that's what goes on in my head. Exactly. Yeah. Like people would look at you and say, "Oh my gosh, you're so dedicated. You're so talented." Like to me, that's way more inspiring than. I mean, saving someone's life is much more inspiring than me creating a painting. However, I do obviously think there's value in both. Um, this is just my way of keeping sane in the world. So, oh, here we go. I'm going to put his eye in, y'all. So, his ear and his eye sits right, I think, in here. Ooh, I don't think I have the eye right. I know I don't. But I think we can fix it. It's roughly in the right place. Roughly in the right place. Okay. There's where our Leon is coming. Oop, I need to turn him this way. He's sort of getting there. It's amazing to me, like how long it takes to do something like this. But I'm trying to do it obviously the best of my ability, so I'm taking a lot more time than maybe I would normally. Okay. Let's see if we can put in a snout. Can we? Can we? Sure. Okay. I am not going to Chase, sorry. No, I am not. I might go on the cruise at some point, but um, probably not going to the conferences. Okay. Hmm. I should not be diving into this detail, but I kind of want to start to put in some detail so that I can see where I'm getting it right and where I'm getting it wrong. Um, yeah. All right. Let's now start our process again. Let's go all the way to the back. We always start back farthest from the eye all the way forward. So clouds, sky. Let's look at the reference photo. Clouds and sky. All right. I am pretty happy with the clouds and the sky. I think they look pretty close. only thing I can do is I'm going to take a little white, maybe just a tad of blue, not much, but just enough to tone down so it's not pure white. And I'm going to paint this under sky so the clouds just really stand out even more. Right here is the brightest spot in the sky. There's some spots over here. Great. Okay. Excellent. I'm happy with the sky as I think it is. Let me step back and take a look. Yeah. Now, I wonder if we can. Yep. I think we're done with the sky. We're going to leave it, although the edges of this cloud ended up being a little sharper than I wanted. We're going to take that. We're going to leave it. We are going to leave it. Actually, Chase, it's going really well. About, I think, 80% of our students are on campus this semester, and 20% are off. Fortunately, we have had no COVID cases, so that's largely in thanks to great work by our administration, and the kids have just been really, really observant of public health guidelines and our campus guidelines. And so, yeah, we've been really lucky that we've been able to stay on campus as long as we have. And class is going well. I mean, this semester is just tough for everybody just because it's such a mental and emotional strain on everybody. But we're getting through, and we're getting through. We're making it. We're making it. So, but my kiddos are doing really well. I have a much smaller class than than I had last year. Last year I had, I think 12 or 13 in class. This year I have 5. So our classes are smaller because our school's smaller. But yeah, that's the deal. It's going well otherwise. Going very well. I don't think I like that. I don't like that.
I want to come over here. Put in some more shadows here. Let's see. Okay. Just trying to work with these hills a little bit to give them some non-green tones because they are actually, there's a significant bit of them that is, it's too dark. It's kind of a, there's a bit of them that's kind of a brownish color. I don't know if I'm making these hills better or worse in the long run. I guess time will tell. I'm going to step back a little bit again. Yeah, I'm not crying over this. Okay, now all right. I worked on the hills a little bit. They still need some blending and probably some different colors, but I wanted to add some brown tones. Those aren't exactly where the brown tones live, but hopefully I can add some highlights and blend in so it will look better in the long run. But yeah, at least the mountains aren't so bright they're coming toward us, so that's good. That's basically what I'm most concerned about. But what I want to do is work on a little bit on the tree there on the left hand side. The tree on the left hand side. All right. Again, thank you for those of you who are, excuse me, hanging with me so long. Oh my goodness. I was planning to go 2.5 hours and I'm now at 2:40. God, I just love this so much though that it's hard to put the paintbrush down and say, okay, because I'm already thinking of when can I come back, and I graded papers or graded assignments I had to do today and have some other work I need to do tomorrow, but I'm like, oh, I just really want to get into the paint studio and ignore the world. But that is not an option. Okay. I'm going to I'm going to come in and put some shadow in this tree. Okay, like that. I take a little bit of this black green mixture that I have here. And I'm going to put some shadows on here along the edge of the wall here. Wall actually needs to be back a little further. It should be up here. That's okay though. We're not going to move the entire wall right now.
Hey Max, I don't know if you're still on. I am sorry that I didn't see your comment till just now. I was deep in it. Okay, this is what we got so far. He's not quite there. His head's a little off, but we're getting there. It's the first time I've ever done or attempted an animal. Um, so this, I started, I think I told you I started, or maybe it was Justin I was telling, but I started this in May, I think, or June. And so I'm streaming on Instagram during the week, Instagram Live, and then I'm doing Facebook, YouTube, Twitter on the weekend. So that's the plan, to get better and better. And yeah, that's what we is doing right now. Getting better and better and better. Little by little, little by little. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I was telling Chase, my friend Chase, earlier that it's crazy because really all I'm doing is problem solving with colors and shapes, which is similar to what entrepreneurs do with businesses and business models. And so, yeah, it's a people say, "Oh, you're so talented," and I don't. I mean, yes, there's a certain amount of talent, of course, but I don't think it's as much talent as it is figuring out how to do what I want and make look like what I want to do. So yeah, I'm completely addicted. Like I can't stop. I'll show you what I did on Instagram this week. You may have seen me post it. Quite proud of this one just because it's not quite done, but I have some final detail work in the water, especially. But it really turned out well, and it looks like what I wanted to do. So, yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's exactly your work is exactly the same. Um, it is. It's just problem solving, which is really fun when it turns into something that other people can enjoy or find happiness with. So it's kind of cool. Kind of cool. And that I can find happiness in doing and spending way too much time. I'm already trying to figure out like how quickly I can get back into my little studio corner. So yeah, so I have to show you what I showed everybody um, earlier. I've been this. So this is actually my down here is actually my dining table that I've repurposed for painting. I put obviously a drop cloth over it, and this is just the corner of my spare room. And so, oh, sorry for the jiggle, but the corner of my spare room. But what I'm excited about is I got this. Look at the comfy seat. I went and got a stool so I can actually sit when I'm doing these 3-hour live streams. And this week I have a second monitor coming, so I'm gonna mount it here on a clamp stand on the table, and I'm gonna be able to have the reference photo on a monitor here, so people on the stream will be able to see it. I'll be able to see it, and it'll be right there, which will be fun. And then, like, I have my camera, my phone camera here, And then I have my MacBook down here, which that's what I keep looking off screen. So kind of slowly getting my setup, and then of course something to keep me going. But yeah, anyway, the painting's the fun part. The other stuff is just nerdy. Other than the comfy seat, like that was worth the $100. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I mean, this whole thing is a test. Like a hypothesis test. Um, yeah, absolutely. Um, the this whole thing is a test of will people watch it, a 3 hour live stream of me just learning to paint using YouTube tutorials. And so what I'm really experimenting with now is I'm just going to turn this because I want to talk. It's easier to talk to you. So the thing is, what I'm testing now is, can I create a live stream consistently on Instagram, like every weeknight that I can squeeze it in, and then drive people to the weekend streams and expand my reach on Instagram, because that's obviously a visual platform. And can I attract other artists or people interested in painting or people interested in learning to paint, and then drive them to the YouTube, Facebook live streams on the weekends? That's really my goal. And yes, Alec, I am still painting. I'm about to wrap up for tonight, I think, but anyway, I was chatting with my friend Max, who's on. But I think, Max, I'm wanting to see if I can build, um, a following that where people will pop in. This is designed to just be kind of open house where people pop in, pop out. Like Alec, just he was here earlier and popped out and then pops back in, and so I'd like to get, because I enjoy chatting with people while I'm painting, and I'm an external processor, so sometimes like doing that is helpful. So yep, that's kind of what I'm experimenting with right now. So yeah, Alec, this is how far I've come since you were here last. Um, yeah, yeah, Max, I am streaming. I just started Instagram Live. It's harder, obviously, because you only have one camera angle, and I have to use my phone and turn it landscape or um, upright, basically. But it is good for engagement. Um, yep, and then yeah, the primary stream I'm looking to do is YouTube, that I can do consistently every Saturday or every Sunday, whatever. So yeah, Alec, this is where we are. I put some definition into the llama, and he's kind of looking wonky, like his head's a little wonky, but I think I can fix some of this. So um, that's where we are in the process. And I think I'm about done for this evening, just because I put some detail in this tree and in these shrubs a little bit, and came in and put this in. Um, but yeah, oh yeah, the llama's not detailed at all. I haven't done any detail other than just some basic tone differences in his fur. But yeah, I will come in and like almost like string by string on his wool, like really get him detailed. But this is going to be an ongoing. It'll probably take me another 2 or 3 hours to get this the way I want it at some point. So um, that is the plan. But yeah, I am getting wound down because this has been now 3 hours and 3 minutes. I think that's a good place to say pause. And I am going to clean up. Thank God this is not oils, and I can just rinse in the sink, rinse my palette and my brushes, and be ready to go for the next time. But I appreciate y'all coming and chatting with me and checking in. Alec, I appreciate all your insight on the art and my development as an artist. I appreciate your feedback and tips to make me better. And this one's been fun. It's a challenge to do something totally new, but I'm looking forward to doing some more animals. So I'm gonna keep learning, and I will be probably yeah, absolutely, Max. It was great chatting. Thanks for stopping in and spending some time with me. I appreciate it. I know you're busy, and I don't always get over to your stream during the day. When I see it, I pop in, but not as often as I'd like. But absolutely appreciate you popping in and checking out what I'm doing. And I will be on Instagram this week as often as possible in the evenings. Um, and we will see you guys there. Everyone, have a great evening.